Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my collection. Trying to show you guys a little bit different angles here, some of the different uniforms, so you guys will get to see more of the room as we go. Now, the reason I collect militaria is that I'm inspired by stories of courage and learning about men and women who have experienced the extremes of combat. Each uniform here that you guys can see tells a story of hardship and danger and the best and worst of mankind. While stories of courage are my passion, every once in a while I come across a different kind of military story which can be just as captivating. This particular uniform right here is somewhat basic, as you guys can see. It doesn't have the ribbons or anything like that. And a lot of collectors might pass it up just because it has no flashy ribbons or medals of valor or anything like that. But what it does have is a wealth of documents, which are right here, including pictures and newspaper clippings that tell the tale of love in a time of war. The soldier who wore this uniform was a combat engineer who was sent to Korea to face the North Korean and Chinese forces threatening the freedom of the South Korean people. For several months, he built roads and bridges under fire from enemy snipers and facing constant danger. Eventually, the fighting slowed down, and as peace talks were discussed, he was shifted to floor walking at the PX in Seoul. Almost immediately after his arrival, he noticed a Korean salesgirl who spoke a little bit of English. She took notice of him as well, and the pair could soon be taking walks in the moonlight or dancing in the enlisted man's club. The pair fell in love, and they dreamed of marrying and spending a life together, despite coming from vastly different backgrounds. Unfortunately, circumstances would stand in their way. An army chaplain spoke to the soldier and warned him of the problems of interracial marriage. He explained how the soldier's young lover would have trouble adjusting to America, and how any children they had would be looked at as different. He also told him they would face bullying and discrimination from classmates. Dissent didn't just come from the army, as the young Korean girl's family disapproved of the relationship as well. Her family was very bitter that she was dating a GI, and they questioned his intentions. Her culture looked down on a single girl having a boyfriend and to be out acting in public as the two had been seen doing. As his tour of duty came to an end, the young soldier and his Korean lover bowed to societal pressures, and they were forced to say goodbye as he prepared to go home. The soldier made his way to Incheon Harbor, where he would board a ship to take him home back to civilian life. But while waiting, he couldn't stop thinking about his Korean love. What right do others have to interfere with our happiness, he thought. Shall we bow before common prejudices? In the final hours of his enlistment, the soldier shocked his command and the embarkation officer by re-enlisting and volunteering to stay in Korea for another year, just so he could stay with the woman he had fallen in love with. He went to her and he begged her for forgiveness for leaving, and she happily took him back. She convinced her father that the soldier's intentions were true, and the couple was married soon after. In time, they had a daughter, who they vowed to love despite societal interference and despite the prejudices of the day. Together they prepared to face the hard times. Things weren't easy, and a news article I found stated that he still took his meals in the Army mess hall because his new bride was unable to figure out American cooking. But it said she was studying cookbooks to prepare for their time in the States, and hopefully they could have a good life together. Among the documents with the uniform were pictures of the soldier, his bride, and their daughter, as well as shot records for their trip to a life in America after he left the military. Now, stories like this often don't have happy endings, and young love often doesn't survive the hardships of life. In this case, however, love won out. Through online research, I was happy to find that the couple had a total of 3 children. They were together until she died in 2002 and he died in 2004. So that is the story of love in a time of war, and an otherwise basic Army uniform found at a swap meet. Thanks again for watching, and once again, if you guys have any questions, got my Marine uniforms kind of on display over here, some of my World War II here. Anything you guys want to see, anything you want to hear more about, please let me know. Please comment below, and I'll be happy to do that. Thanks again for watching.